Thank you for being here and welcome to another edition of Direction for Truth. We are sponsored by the Institute of Bioacoustic Biology and Sound Health. They are located in Southern Ohio. We've been here for about 35 years, and what we do is stick a microphone in front of your face and take a sample of your vocal print. We then run it through our computer programs, and we can tell a lot about you. Your personality, your intentions is what we're going to talk about tonight, but we have a whole other aspect of what we do that deals with health. We are trying something new today, Animal Farm. For one, we want to introduce you to that book. It's about what we are going to talk about. It's about the animals who got tired of the farmer taking their eggs and the milk and giving them nothing but a small pittance of food. And then they ran the farmer out and put the pigs in charge. And then the pigs began to wear the farmer's clothes and begin to act like the farmer did. It is a great graphic novel by George Orwell that really explains what is happening to us in our government today, the betrayal that we're going to talk about. So we recommend that, Animal Farm. And we are trying to do all of this on the Zoom today. We have been using other means, and it has become a problem. People opening their microphones, with being knocked off, no recordings. Today, or in the last few days, we have been working on the coronavirus and even trying to send out the articles and frequencies that we created. Somebody has sabotaged our email. So if you sent us something and we didn't respond, send it to us again. A question from our audience in the chat saying they have a mic, they have a Mac, but we can do this on any platform, and we're going to show you how as we introduce you to a software package that you'll be able to use. I'm Sharry Edwards. I'm your host. I should have said that already. I've been running the Institute of Bioacoustic Biology and Sound Health for 40 years, and we have developed a database of what frequencies mean in relationship to your personality and your liver and whatever else is going on in your body. So we're very happy that you're here and you share that. We're looking at a lot of information that we have gathered, so we would like for you to put in the chat, what do you want to know most? What is your most pressing question? And we are going to be using the nano voice. If you want to look at that, it is available online on, let me put it over here, the soundhealthportal.com. And you can use this right online, Sound Health Portal online. And you just start here as you're seeing Nano Voice right on the first page, and it gives you instructions, and then it'll give you a printout. This is the 3 to 4 paragraph Nano Voice. There is another one that gives you more information that's downloadable on our site from Sound Health Options, and then we also have a professional model. I was using the professional model to get this information of what is going on. But one of the things that I'm feeling is absolute betrayal. Just like the animals were feeling very betrayed. The farmer took everything that they produced and everything that they had and didn't even leave them enough to live on. And I think that is what people are complaining about today. And I look at what's happening, and some of you have talked about this impeachment and what to believe and what not to believe. So let's talk a minute about the good guys and the bad guys, because that's really what you're talking about. So how do you tell a good guy from a bad guy? Well, the good guy will tell you everything you need to know about a situation. They'll give you the truth and all of the truth because they really want you to be able to make decisions on all of the best information you can get. The other guys that withhold, tell you half a truth, spin, try to create a picture for you to believe instead of the truth. Those bad guys are only interested in you caring about them. They don't really love you. They've created this false narrative. Democrat, Republican, whoever. It doesn't matter. If they won't share all of the truth for you that pertains to that situation, they aren't a good guy. Think of this in terms of betrayal. Most of you have been betrayed once or twice in your life. That person who was betraying you was lying to you, trying to create a person for you to love that they thought was appropriate, that they could get the most out of it. And then think about the person who really loves you and told you like it is. The betrayer wants you to love them for a purpose. The purpose is that they get their way. Now, think about the people you've seen recently on the news and the tabloids. Which one of them, or which ones of them, on the either side, are telling you the truth? They are honoring you by caring about you. And we've done a whole list about who are they, who is telling you the truth. Well, we've just learned that big pharma, F-A-R-M-A, is not. Look at all that mess with glyphosate. Look at all the pharmaceuticals. Look at what's happening to the world. We are not being told the truth. I want to know the truth about UFOs. I think we deserve that as a populace, and we have a lot of vocal prints about people who have seen UFOs, and they're pretty much telling the truth, and we can tell that by their vocal prints. And we're going to share with you some information about vocal prints, who's telling the truth, who isn't, and how to interpret what's going on. This is the vocal print of Lois Lerner, the person who was head of the IRS when they were targeting the little guys. You can see from this graph, which is a nanograph, there's only one long, well, I should say high point. She's not telling the truth. This is the vocal print of a liar. You can lie with your words, but your voice, the frequencies of your voice, will always tell the truth. This is the vocal print of Jerry Nadler, maybe Nadler. And you can see there are 6 layers. In his case, about half of 3 layers are filled. This is indicating he lacks foundation. He lacks continuity. This whole thing should be filled up. And each of these layers should be connected to one another. And that is not the case. See if I can find somebody that's absolutely telling the truth, but for a different purpose. This is Christian Bale, and he was screaming at somebody on the set for walking in front of some light or something. And it got big news coverage about what he did to this person. But it was all fake. You can see he had a complete range of his voice. if he was screaming at somebody and felt anything at all, it would be very separated. His purpose for this was just a publicity stunt for an action. That's the green. So that's what we're going to talk about this evening, how to look at all of these different compatibilities in people. And we posted before Harry and Meghan got married that Meghan was the person wearing the pants in that family. And you can check this out on our website, soundhealthoptions.com, under the Royals. So we start with a blank slate. We stick a microphone in front of your mouth, and then we let the output tell us what's going on. Here is Bush. He's very intellectual, and he's thinking he's getting information to the public for their own good. Many people are like that. That's what happened with Benghazi, with Susan Rice and Hillary. They're standing up there saying this is all a video. It was all a mental picture they were trying to make you believe, Obama included. So we knew that they were lying, and they were trying to pull the wool over your eyes. So as we go through some of these, I would like you to put in the chat who you want to see, because I have hundreds of things here to share. I will read this chat. Frequency clearly form. What the heck does that mean? Admin, that's not something I can answer here, but I can send you a paper about it that we have created, including the idea that man is just very sophisticated carbon-based robots, and we have some proof for that. So it's not something I can answer here. So we're going to teach you how to tell who's the good guy and who's the bad guy, because you're being betrayed. And we can look at Pelosi and Schumer and Trump, and we can tell you who's the betrayer and what they are betraying about. So we're going to look at these different colors. The yellow means intellect. Here's blue means emotions. And all of this information in papers or booklets or Vimeos. Vimeo, Vimeo.com. There's about 500 videos there, and a lot of them are about the nano and how to interpret it. So green is go and do something and accomplish. The yellow is mental, and the red is let's run ahead to the future. They're reactionary, like a fireman. So as we go through all of this, you'll be able to see this for yourself. Jane, you have your hand up. I haven't the slightest idea what to do with that. If you have a question, would you put it in the chat? Because I just don't know how to answer you. Admin has a hand up. I don't know what to do with that either. So admin, if you can put that in chat, or George, if you can, I'll try to follow along. This is my first day without any prep, hardly, of doing something Zoom. So that you can remember, the yellow is like the lawyer, the mental guy. And somebody is in the impeachment, and they're all yellow, then they are just spouting facts. The green, the farmer's going to do it for a reason. They're going to give you the facts and then show you usually what to do about it, where the lawyer just spouts facts at you most of the time. They will come to conclusion for you, but the farmer will really give you a solution, a tool to do something with this. The fireman is going to tell you about the future, and the blue is going to tell you you'll feel this way if you do this. There's about 40% of you that are yellow, 40% that are green, and 20% that are red and blue. And just by looking at the colors of someone's graph, you can tell where they're coming from. We do have a note correlate chart. I think I will ask them to post this with a video of what is going on. Many chats coming in. Just see if we enter yes. Trump is one of the good guys in my mind. He's a little pushy. I don't always like his personality, but I like what he's accomplishing. And more than anything, I didn't vote for Trump. I voted against Hillary because I saw all of the lies and the manipulation. So in the beginning, I did not vote for Trump at all, but I like what he is doing. I like what he's accomplishing. You can go to our website also and download this BioAcoustic Basics book. There is a large one, like 40 pages, and a big one, like 70 pages. You get this if you take our courses. This comes with the courses. And we do a 2-day free course every month. We do a 5-day course every 3 months. And we do a master's course, a really new big one, when we gather about 10 people. And it's all hands-on, and I'm teaching it. So if any of you are interested in taking the courses, please just write to me. I'll try to talk right into the mic. Thank you, George. And we'll send you a catalog. We're just now putting it up. But we're going to use this information and look at a nano voice. Let me just show you some before we start. Oh, somebody's just posted that they would like to see AOC and what's going on with that. So, this is one about Pelosi. In November-ish, she was very yellow in her print. Then all of a sudden, it turned to blue. Something emotional was coming out. Now it's just come out that her son is also involved in this congressional stuff of Congress people can't take money, but their children can. And that's a way around it. You know, this whole thing about clean the swamp is more than just a philosophy. It's actually stopping or trying to stop people who are milking the government. They go in with $17 million and they come out with $117 million. There's something going on wrong there because they're only making like $500,000 a year. And so, you know, it used to be, I don't like your thoughts. I don't like what you're saying. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a fist fight. Now it's, I don't like what you're thinking. You have to die. And so this is getting really, really serious. And we really need to be able to look at someone's vocal print and make some assumptions about what is going on using this little nano voice. This is Nancy Pelosi talking about impeachment. Now, we can send you some of this information, and we have graphs for it that will show you. But the very bottom is foundational. Next up is control. And you can see that's where Nancy Pelosi has most of her energy, in control. Next up is emotion. Next up is naivete. Next one up, that's fantasy. And the next one up, +2, you can see that they're numbered on the side. That's a delusional person. And you can see circled in red is the note of F and F sharp. Those are the highest notes. Those deal with having an idea and making sure it gets carried out. So in Pelosi's original one that we did, I think this was August, September, I can't remember. She was in control. wanted to be in control, but she had a lot in fantasy. Now, I showed you a chart that tells you what each one of these notes mean. C, ego. C sharp, justice. D, anger, I want to help, self-approval. D sharp, using information to make a stand. E is the information. F, ideas. F sharp, carry it out. G and G sharp, control what you carry it out in the physical way. A and A sharp, management. So she doesn't have much there. So she doesn't know how to manage what she is trying to create. And we can go back and look at each one of these that we've done, and it tells you information about what she's doing here. One of the most confounding questions facing our elected officials right now is, why is Nancy Pelosi withholding impeachment documents from the U.S. Senate? And here are her motives according to her vocal print. A need to maintain control of the documents so that modifying them is possible at her pleasure. She wants to dictate impeachment process in both the House and the Senate. Now, this was put out way before, let's look at the date, all this hullabaloo came along. So we were able to see this in her print before it ever was manifested or in the news. We can provide this for you because Pelosi impeached Trump statements. In my opinion, what Nancy is fighting for is a position that many of the representatives have created for themselves, the opportunity to rape and pillage those who put them in office. They are fighting for their right to make lots of money beyond their congressional jobs. The standing to participate in illegal, immoral activities, the power and the greed that are afforded them now. Trump, as a gunslinger, fighting is what's right, not for this person or that person. You may not like the idea of Trump coming into town as a gunslinger. You may hate him. But what he's going for is the results. How our lifestyle can change. And he doesn't care if we like him or not. So looking at him as this gunslinger person is a really good idea. Remember that show, Have Gun, Will Travel? Will Paladin, and he was an ugly son of a cuss, came into the town, cleaned it up, took all the high-up elite people to task for being tyrants to the little people. He cleaned up the town and he left. One of the things I have an objection to is when Pelosi is saying she is praying for Trump. She didn't say which way she's praying that he'll do the right thing. That would be great. Praying that he'll drop dead, that's not a good thing. So this paper explains a lot, even the idea of how to tell the good guy from the bad guy that we were just talking about. And the bad guys spin, manipulate, bully. Good guys tell the truth, don't withhold anything. This paper has a lot of what I'm talking about tonight. Pelosi's attack on a reporter who asked if she hated Trump was strictly a defensive maneuver, and you can see it in her vocal print. It is not like P-R-A-Y-ing, it's more like P-R-E-Y-ing. Trump, they've been doing this in Washington for decades, taking advantage of the little people, spending $1,200 on a hammer, that kind of thing. You've heard it. Well, it's going to quit under the Trump purposes. I don't like everything Trump is doing. I don't like the fracking. Yeah, I think it's too invasive to Mother Earth. But then you look at the other side of it, how it has helped to become oil independent. So I guess we have to balance things. And again, I didn't vote for Trump. I voted against Hillary because I knew, I could see what was going on in the government and how we were getting taken advantage of. So we look at the numbers first and we can tell where they're coming from. Very little foundation. 42 is normal, and this bottom shows that Pelosi doesn't have a firm foundation. She has a need to control. That's where she's coming from. That's information that we could use about every politician, every boss, anybody who's trying to sell us something. Those gold commercials are full of the biggest liars I've ever registered, of telling you what's going on with gold. Now you look at Pelosi by its colors, and this is all mental. But a month or so ago, everything that she was doing turned to blue. Somebody got to her and scared her. That's what the blue's about, emotions. And she recently announced, I think it was on Czech radio station, that if there is no impeachment, she is going to resign. I would think that somebody has said to her, you get this through, or we're going to do something to your family or whatever. The computer always gives you a printout, and this one is like 4 or 5 paragraphs. So this tells you a lot about Pelosi and how she's dealing with impeachment. This one was done 12/8, and again you see the separation. Still no foundation. Most everything is in the control octave. A little bit is in the feeling and emotional octave, and it's about justice. In fantasy, she has 109, more than double what should be. There's some fantasy going on. You know, one of the things that has happened with, I just shut that down, with Pelosi, and it's been going on forever, is that when she says something, she believes it's the truth. And it's weird. We have another article called Pelosi, Miss Huff and Puff, and how she has said things that are totally bizarre. Unemployment creates jobs was one of them, she said. She believes that, but is so far off the mark. Again, we're looking at the impeachment. It's creeping in the green for a purpose, but the blue is beginning to creep in, and the blue is about family and mankind as a whole. She's beginning to have a big gap and separation in what is going on, so we can follow through time what's happening. When this blue begin to creep in, the F and the F sharp, I have a plan and I'm going to carry it through, begins to dissipate. Now she has shifted to justice through words and spin and power. All that C sharp, D, and D sharp. C sharp, justice, but justice my way, and meaning her, and with words that I am going to deliver to the public. The next month or so, she was more and more blue. And one of the things I found fascinating is she has Adam Schiff's missing notes. Here is when she's talking about loss of seats, and they're not going to lose seats. Green here for a purpose. This whole speech was for a purpose when she's saying, we fully intend to win. And that comment is absolute malarkey. They did win the House, but we fully intend to win. She knew she was lying. How? Half her chart's gone. She isn't she isn't completely sharing the truth with you. This is one of the most profound shifts that I have seen in any of our leaders. and it all has computerized information. This is not stuff, well, I did make it up originally because I wrote the program, 30 years ago when I was a senior in college. But we have all kinds of these pieces of information for you, what AOC is doing. I am going to go back, though, and look at some of the chat and see if there's more questions. Attorney General Barr is very truthful, but he is not sharing everything. Mitt Romney, he wants what's good for people, but he's very manipulative. There's 4 people with their hands up. Somebody tell me how to answer that. We have several on Mitt Romney and Trump. Mitt Romney is in a jealous situation. He has been bested by somebody and he doesn't like it, and he's letting it show, and in the past he did not. Please put questions in the Q&A, not in the chat. Chat is just for chatting. I thought I was in the Q&A. Means questions and the answers. Can you repeat the percentages with the colors? Yes, let me see if I can go back. Yellow 40, green 40, and red and blue 20 each. Ark says, I voted for Obama because I knew about Hillary and Traitor McCain. I didn't repeat his second term. I voted for Obama the first time. He was all words. And even when we're looking at the Benghazi stuff, it ended up being just what we said. Let me see if I can find Benghazi, because I did a lot of downloads. They might be behind here. Benghazi. What we're doing here is just giving you the tools, or hoping to give you the tools, so that you can do this on your own. I don't know where I put all this. Benghazi. Okay, here it is. Benghazi information here. Open. Just links there so far about Benghazi and notes. That was a show I did. Trump, Hillary learning from attacks. I don't know what this means. Only open this file. Hillary on being president. The Benghazi hoax. One of the things when Hillary said, I'm back, that showed her absolute arrogance. Let me see if I can find their actual files. Trump, Hillary. 13 hours. Here is the book, the 13 hours, the guys that came in and tried to save him. Everything they said was the truth. And it was the exact opposite from what Obama and Hillary were saying. So if you ever get a chance to, NGHA, find that. Liar, liars. Nope, that's another one you can look for. 13 hours, we can look at their vocal prints. No, we can't. They've been erased. 60 Minutes, that guy that came on 60 Minutes with Lara Logan, he was telling the truth absolutely what was going on, and she lost her job over it. He had another name, Dylan. I can send all these. I'll just post them. I'll post the Benghazi stuff so you can look at all of it. And Jerry Sandusky is another one. But I need to find I don't know how to find it on this computer. They just upgraded it, but I will post it. It shows that both Hillary and Obama were had the same story. It was both yellow. One was the left side of the chart, one was the right side of the chart. Together they made one whole story. And then Susan Rice went out and repeated this ridiculous thing that was about a video, and hers matched Hillary's more closely. So that's telling me Hillary is the one that gave her the information and coached her. But they all knew that they were lying, and their voice was up into that area of fantasy. Let's see, don't save. That one is Pelosi. We looked at it. Let me see if I can go back and look at some others, and they're on PowerPoint. I know we have Pelosi, or Sandusky in here. He was the guy in Penn State that was molesting little boys. And his legal team got in touch, and we were able to tell them the word that really set this off. It was horseplay. And we were able to tell that he was guilty. Let me see if I can find his files. Well, I can find the article, but I can't find... no, that's Hillary. No, I have to find it another way. Let me look for don't save. Let me Sandusky. Because in his case, it's really, really obvious. Here's liars. Zuckerberg, Megyn Kelly, Michael Avenatti, Judge Napolitano, Ron Paul. This is a great one. I haven't found Weinstein, Hillary during Benghazi hearings. Let's see if this is it. No, but it's a bit about it. She knew she was lying. When you see something only on one side, and it's yellow, which means mental, and it's very egotistical. You can see the picture. The picture's egotistical when they were questioning her. And you can see everything's piled up in ego and justice, but it's in a control octave. You can tell so much by what people are saying here. Here is somebody who's truthful. I couldn't believe this was his voice, Ron Paul. And he's talking about that I think it was the Senate just passed a bill that allowed America to assassinate its own citizens. And you can get this online. He is one of the most honest people I've ever seen. But it's blue, emotional, and then green for a reason. So all of this, again, is about, well, that doesn't show the numbers. Stormy Daniels, sex with Trump? Yes, unfortunately. Was it true about Trump sent somebody after her and accosted her in a car in a parking lot? No, that's not true. He looked like he approached her, but it wasn't to threaten her. But you can see emotional, trying to manage a situation, but all this is missing. She's not telling the truth. We have a whole book of profiles that you can learn from. This is what a truthful vocal print looks like. See, almost everything is filled up, as opposed to this is Ron Paul. This is the truthful one. Here is an untruthful one. This should be Enable editing. Hundreds of these, and they're in a profile book. We should put it out with information for interpretation so all of you can look at it. This goes up here. Now, this is what an untruthful one looks like. See the big holes? In the fantasy layer, and this is Jerry Sandusky, when they're asking him if he was molesting these little boys, and they convicted him of molesting, having anal sex with a 9-year-old in a locker room. What the total picture was, sex was not something you do with a 9-year-old. You are entertaining them and bringing them about to your side. Sex is something you have with your wife or a woman to have children. And that was obvious in his vocal print. He saw what he was doing as horseplay with these kids. It was just a way to get close to them. Now, that doesn't make it any less horrendous. But look at truthful, filled up, touching each other. Gwen Olson and Ron Paul are incredibly truthful person. Gwen Olson wrote a book, Prescriptions from a Professional Drug Dealer or something like that. And she blew the whistle on the drug companies, saying that when the drug companies look at you, they see profits, not getting somebody well. How about Kim Jong-un? Whoa, didn't mean to put that in there. Now my whole computer went bluey. That was an evaluation of Kim Jong's health, and it's not good. I should remember to take that out. 4213. Well, I'm going to jump back over to question and answers, see some things that you guys would like to look at. Were you able to see if that Kim Grogan is waiting on the funds to be able to be released to the people? Well, Anonymous wrote that, and I don't know what that means. George said, I would like to know if CDC or... Yes, they do. Let me see if I can find one. Janet Napolitano, no relation to the judge. When Obama was president, let's see if I can find it on vaccinations. VACCINE. She said, this is going to be the worst year ever for vaccines. Flu, you have to get your shot right now. And it was totally false. This National Vaccine Information Center, Barbara Loe Fisher, the next day after they put that out from the government, put out, this is going to be a really mild flu season. She was telling the truth. I can't find it, Janet. And I guess I can't talk at the same time. Vaccine. And there was another one that said the same thing at the same time. No, don't need vaccine. Okay. Let me think a minute what I'm trying to find. So at the same time, Obama put out a statement that we have a state of emergency. Let me write myself a note so I can include that one in this. We have a state of emergency, and this reporter asked him how he felt about having his own kids vaccinated, and his voice print scrambled. So it's okay for your kids, it's not okay for his, and we can see the difference in his vocal prints, knowing that the two issues were totally separate. So you need to get vaccinated, but I'm not going to have it happen to my kids. Let's see if I can find Obama anywhere. I should have brought that out. Obama plane crash, Obama Syria, Biden on Trump's bad economy. What is this about plane crash? I don't remember that. Obama missile that hit MH17 fired from rebel area. He's talking about it. Was he telling the truth? He was telling an intellectual story that he thought might cause some emotional problem in the future. That was an easy one to do. Once you learn how to do this, on the portal you can look at all of it. But look at what, everything's scattered here. Nothing's touching anything else. So he's withholding information, spinning information. He only is telling you what he wants you to know. He was also lying about whoever they threw in the ocean, bin Laden. That was not truthful either. So lots and lots of information going on here. I've showed you how to do it with the Nano, that you can go on our site and purchase that shows you exactly what's going on here, and there is a booklet. But I also want to show you how to do it on the portal. But yes, I will go back and check the questions. On here, you get a printout, but you don't get the numbers. Bernie Sanders, the candidate. Yes, we have done something with Bernie. Let me write this. I'll post it because we don't have a lot of time left. I would like to know if, I will post the CDC. I don't have anybody from WHO. I will try to get it. But certainly the CDC, they are lying. They are not giving you all the information, and the information they are giving you is wrong. A lot of the times, we just did the coronavirus. It's man-made. Elizabeth Warren blows in the wind. She doesn't have a lot of stability. Bernie has a lot more foundation, but he doesn't know how to carry out that foundation. Yes, we've done Elizabeth Warren. I don't know if I have. Let me look at profiles and see what's there. Well, why did that disappear? That's weird. Profiles, we have hundreds, and if I could find them. But let me answer. Looks like there's a lot of questions. Some current vocal prints from the impeachment trial, both Democrats, Adam Schiff and a Republican, any lawyer. Adam Schiff withholds information. Let me look. SCHIFF. I'm pretty sure I have some. SCHIFF. Open. This is Adam Schiff and a reporter talking about this. Is on a video, has very uncluttered voice, indicative of someone who's lying. If you listen to this, and I'll put this in the chat, you can tell a absolute difference between, let me find the end of this so I can put this in here. I think that went into post. No. I'm having all kinds of trouble here. Dershowitz, from his voice, he is guilty of something. I don't know exactly what, but he is guilty. He was very relieved that somebody found him not guilty. Okay, I've lost my place. Elizabeth Warren. Adam Schiff. Okay. Adam Schiff loses all of his variety in his voice. It's like there's no... It's like a rope, a clean, clear, crisp rope with no variety, and then the announcer is an old rope with a lot of flavor to it. When you hear somebody, and this is a good example, and there's no jitter in their voice, they are lying. You see that, and you can hear it on those gold commercials where they want to sell you gold and say gold's done nothing but go up. They're just lying. They're lying to you. Really look at the words they're saying. Their spin. Let's see if I can think of a sentence they say that's absolute spin. Gold is going to do nothing. History says gold is going to do nothing but rise from here. Well, they don't know that from here. They don't even know that from history. Gold has fluctuated so much. Take each sentence and see how it could not be true in those gold commercials. I should take one of those and take it apart. Okay, I made a picture here. A large tube with a wire going through it. The wire is straight and narrow. Listen to the interviewer. Same wire, but it has a lot of dust and small debris clinging to the wire. That image, mental image, is about truth. There's a lot of things coming up. In Schiff's chart, there is a lot of fantasy. Look at 208 on fantasy ego. Somebody has convinced him that he's a big man and he's doing the right thing. It's all in fantasy. What's missing here is the emotions. There's no emotions to this. I will bet somebody is paying him off. But he thinks this is the right thing for him, not necessarily humanity. But he's trying to control humanity, this foundation of 131. Somehow he's convinced himself that what he's doing is the right thing for long-term humanity. But it's a spin. There's a lot of missing notes in here. He is just not telling the whole truth. So I will put that one up for you guys too. But I wanted to show you a bit about how to use the nano voice. So this is online, and I'm not sure it's going to come through since we're on the Zoom, but you start and you just talk into it. Ready? Yes. Come on, do this. And it shows you what notes C, C sharp, D are coming up, and it takes 500 hits to do this, and then it pops up a written report or typed report, and you'll see here the note of B is the one that's coming up. B is about nerves. It's about forearms. It's about a love of humanity. It's about doing for others before you do for yourself. And second coming up here is justice. G, that's mineralization. G sharp helps you use the minerals. A is management. A sharp is the carrier between management and what's good for everybody. So if you kind of see this as, let's have an idea. I want a house, C. I have an idea. I'll talk about it with the architect, F. The F sharp will make up the plans. The G and G sharp guys will build what the architect says. The A and the A sharp will manage all of it, the apartment house or something. And then the B will see that it fits in with the rest of humanity. So we're already at 510. Let's just see what happens here. It's coming up on the 500, and this is just like what we were doing in looking at, oops, it died. Is it under here? Yes. Report. Let's see what happens. Keeping everything where you can find it is useful. Highest note is associated with public, with service and humanity's spirit. So you can kind of see where you're coming from. You can't see the numbers here. But when you take our 2-day class, and it's free, I think it's next Thursday and Friday, it will give you the nano voice for free, just for taking our course. We think this is so important for humanity. So another way that you can send us a vocal print, how do I get back to the beginning here? Homepage. You can go to services, and let's say you want to look at what your brain is doing and what nutrient it needs. You can click on neuroplasticity, and you have to have the right microphone. If you don't, it's garbage in, garbage out. And I know that I'm going fast with all of this, but we only have so little time with each other. Remember to go to Vimeo, Vimeo, for all the rest of this stuff. And it will tell you what this is, what we're trying to do with it. It'll say, send us a vocal print. And you have to put in your email address so we can send you the vocal print. But we would much rather have you do this for yourself. And that's why we have put all of these courses together. A tech course, an apprentice course, a master's course, a professional course. We'll try to get you started in learning to do this for your own and setting up your own business in your community. So we're doing it so that we can spread the word. People raise their hand when they want to talk using their microphone. We have microphones turned off today, so raising your hand is meaningless. Thank you, George. Mitt Romney as a neocon, correct? Well, I don't know what a neocon means. Mitt Romney started out very good, but he is, he's letting his own ego get in the way. Okay, Robert sent me something about the coronavirus. We'll be doing that, I think, next Thursday. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, I don't believe is dead, or if he is, he was murdered. This was all his idea. There's nobody else in the picture in his print. Let me put Epstein on here so I can print it with this. Epstein and Trump, a long time ago, when Trump was talking about kicking Epstein out of, I think it's Mar-a-Lago, it was like old stuff, and it was true that he kicked him out, and it was like, this is against my principles, this pedophile and whatever's going on. But some of the stuff with Stormy Daniels was true, so there is a conflict there. But Jeffrey Epstein was a loner who did this on his own in the beginning, and then that's how he ended up making his money. Bill Clinton is fibbing about Epstein. Dershowitz, I said again, he's guilty of something. I can't pinpoint it. He partook in something, and I'd have to dig deeper to go look at it. Schiff, I don't know if you mean Adam Schiff. I put some of that up, or if just, yes, we're in a state of shift. And the first thing we must do, absolutely, is separate the good from the bad. Edward Joseph Snowden, yes, he is telling the truth. There's a little bit of difference in Bradley Manning. Bradley Manning believed that information had its life of its own, and he was trying to protect the information. Now, they buried what Assange is doing, but Assange really wants the people to know the truth. And the dumps that he did on Hillary Clinton, I think if anybody goes into them, they will find out that Hillary was playing people against each other. Each heads of state, she was playing against one another. And that's other things that Edward Snowden was bringing about. He should be seen as a hero as far as I'm concerned. He was telling the truth, but it's just like clean the swamp. All these people didn't want to be exposed for all the dirt they did under the rug, like giving their kids money and jobs and a problem. Yes, let's see if I can find him. Snowden. Snowden. Presidential summary. Chat. Edward Snowden. Open. Well, not a lot there. Not even his print. See if I have another one. Some of these people have just gone in and gutted. We've had our computers hammered. Open. This is Manning and Snowden. Oh, that's a show I did on it. I don't have anything, but if we have something like that, we did a show, and it's probably on, good grief. The whole thing just went down. No, I don't have anything real on Manning, and I don't know why all of this just stopped working, and it's just showing my good grief. Okay, so I will put Manning and Snowden up with this recording. Situation with the Royals moving and being associated with a Clinton friend. I didn't hear the Clinton friend, but looks like this was Meghan's idea, and she wants freedom, and they're thinking he's the seventh in the row. They want to do their own thing without being so constrained, and Meghan's leading the charge. I will put Meghan stuff in there because we just did that. How about Shift? Okay, we just did Shift. And maybe Barr. Barr's telling the truth, but he's not telling all of the truth. Even about Epstein, he thinks there's information being held back. Recap on Trump. Nikki says, let me see if I can find something on Trump. Trump. Trump's bad. Okay, here is Trump's health. Trump has some hearing issues that they're not reporting. He has cholesterol issues. He's on medication. From what we can see, his liver and liver factors are his main issue. This is his actual vocal print. And when you see this lump in the middle, and this is just a different kind of vocal print evaluation, that means he's not digesting things well. So we can look at medical things as well in terms of bioacoustics. Okay, let's see if I have another Trump profile. What particularly did you want to know about Trump? Pelosi motivation. There's 21 files. I did have profiles up here so you could look at presidential summary for public presentation. Let's look at that one. I evaluated each of the presidential candidates. This was the last election. Jeb Bush, Carson, Chris Christie. He was not guilty, by the way, of that bridge thing. Ted Cruz, Carly Fiorina. I forgot she even did anything. Mike Huckabee, Rand Paul, Marco Rubio, Bernie Sanders. You want to stop there? Sanders exhibits very little personal ego, but still doesn't believe he can win. There's a balance between what he sees and how he's going about to solve a problem. Much of his energy is maintained in the fantasy octave under the note of D, self-approval, gratification from helping others. He's convinced himself he could help the plight of many citizens if he could win. He also lots of energy in a male octave, indicating a balance of perception and management. All of the candidates, he is likely the most personification of what you see is what you get. Okay, Trump. Now, I have not done this for this coming year, but I will as soon as they null it down. You probably can just read this, but for people listening and not actually watching a video, I'll read it. He has a Republican and a Democrat in his past. He's a real estate mogul, businessman, TV personality, wants to reform tax brackets, wants to support mental illness programs, build a wall between Mexico and U.S., and has threatened to run for president, or threatened to run as an independent. It was surprising to see that Trump was initially coming at his candidacy from a very naive perspective. He will stay if he's challenged by the higher-ups, telling him he can't run. Trump is a businessman's bully. He doesn't really want the job, just wants to show how the job should be done. I would think that his opposition would attempt to defeat him by calling his supporters ignorant and uneducated. What did they do? They called his supporters Walmart people. Trump attacks his candidacy like he attacks a business deal, throwing the other guy off his game. In the end, he will announce that he made a statement about Fiona's face to make her stronger, but he will claim that her very effective commercial based on his remark was due to his inspiring her. And he did do that. At this point, will not likely stay in the race unless he's told he can't. That's his button. He will have many great ideas, but expect others to carry him out. Trump is not the gentleman people want as a president. He's a gunslinger. Trump has moved out of his naive state into a take-control tyrant stance. He uses fantasy to provide direction about the usefulness of his information. He is not yet settled about running a full race. Now, this was written before he ran from his vocal print. What about this is not true? He lacks the notes of F sharp, G, G sharp, and A, indicating that now he's not sure that he wants even to follow through. He exhibits the correct foundational octave to show stability. Previously, he was coming from a naive perspective. His fantasy octave runs strong with considerable faith in his own information. He wants to help others move through their own efforts. His ego markers are lowering. His sense of justice still resides in fantasy. One of the things I'm concerned about, too, is people are threatening that Michelle Obama is going to come in. And here's some information about her. Michelle's vocal print revealed considerable words of manipulation and ego. I believe that. Her bioacoustic vocal profile indicates a right-brained intellectual perspective with the ego closely tied to emotions and actions. His primary octave, her primary octave is male. Most of her voice falls within a fantasy level, particularly in communication modes. The voice is scattered with only the note of E connecting the rest of her perceptions. So she thinks she can talk her way out of things. I probably should do this for the first 10 candidates or so. Also, I threw in Valerie Jarrett because she seemed to have a whole lot of influence on other people. Biden shows signs of dementia. I don't think he remembers what he says. I think he attacks people as a form of don't get too close to me, just like Warren does. And so does Hillary. Hillary attacks Pelosi attacks. Don't ever come at me about that again. I pray for the president. That was a total untruth, naive. I didn't put it up here. So pray, I should put up with all of this idea about praying. Basketball player Kobe Bryant, was that a hoax? Did he really perish? I haven't looked at anybody's vocal print about that at all, so I can't answer that. So, Paul, can we use Lucille for coronavirus? Yes. And I have put out a paper about the coronavirus. I'm going to post it on our website, and then I'm going to do a class about the actual frequencies. So the idea here first is evaluation and prevention. Now it should be up on the Sound Health portal. It should have been up today. I've got the database done. We're just looking for typos and things like that. We should be able to do it today, so you can go and have yourself evaluated for what you need to protect yourself. And mostly it's forms of glutathione and quercetin. The coronavirus is the same frequency as some of the glutathione that protects your immune system. So yes, we should have that up. Check our website, the Sound Health portal. As soon as it goes up, we'll put it on our Facebook. Is it okay to send a voice sample if you have a cold? Absolutely, no problem. Can you use Lucille for a cold? Yes. It's even worked for antibiotic-resistant pneumonia. Have any renowned atheists shown that the denial of the Creator was false? I don't remember. I did one atheist years ago. It was a woman, and I don't remember what it was. I do have an article about when our Creator is coming back. You want me to post that too? I think we proved it with BioAcoustics. Candace says, right, Epstein alive. You could tell when W. Barr was speaking of Epstein's death. Big fat lie. It was the truth as far as he knows, but he was withholding lots of information. They now milk Epstein for all information on his customers and bosses. If this was a pedophile ring, I'm against it. Now, whatever kind of sex adults want to do, as long as they're not murdering each other, it's okay with me. Just don't put it in my face. But with children, I draw a high wall. Did Prince Andrew sleep with Virginia? Yes, he says his voice print indicates that he is guilty. Dershowitz is lying, hiding. Is he? He's hiding something about the Epstein. I'd have to dig deeper to see what it is. Government against Epstein. I did not look for anything about spying or another country about Epstein. His stuff's really hard to find, or it was when I was doing this. I'm wondering about the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Is there a connection? It looks like there is from the coronavirus. Also, we have done, let me see if I can find Gates. Gates is all for, no Gates. Gates is all for controlling populations. And this is just my fantasy here. Years ago, when the government took him up and decided to get him for corruption and, what is it when you have too much of companies that are like together? I don't know. I forget what that word is. Anyway, the government was trying to prosecute him for monopolies. And right after he agreed to do something or the other, he started this vaccine stuff. And we have a pre-vaccine software to see if you've been traumatized, or if you will be traumatized. And I wrote to them and said, here's the solution. You've got all these people being hurt and traumatized. We have an answer. We can look at this before, and we know what to look for in the kids that are going to be traumatized. And they wrote me back a very nasty letter telling me to keep out of their business and whatever. That tells me he didn't want a solution. We also did Gates and Rockefeller together and compared their voice about generations of killing people off. And so I'll put that in there too. Trump has a lot of Virgo in his first house of birth chart. I don't know anything about astrology. I do know that every IRS agent we've ever had here has been a Virgo. They want their own way. They play by their rules and their interpretation of the rules, if that helps. Deb Smith, Trump is complicitous in having withheld the money from Ukraine because he wanted... Nope, I'm not going to go there. Nope. I know the answer, but I'm just not going to be political. But I can... There's a lot of misinformation out there about that. Nikki, thanks for covering Shiftenbar and older info. Did Trump really believe in God as he claims? I don't know if he goes to church or not. I'll have to go find a vocal print when he's talking about God. Let me write that down. Trump and God. So I will post these. Maybe we can post the whole profile book, which is about 2 inches thick in almost every subject. It's incredible. But I need to write a bit about what people are going to learn from it. Please post the article when the Messiah will return. Post it here. Monopoly, yes, George. It's about an article that, what's his name? Oates. His first name is Oates, and he's at Brown University. And he and his students did a study about plants last summer and found out that these plants in their DNA have a code, a computer code, that they think is the correction code for computers. And I wrote to them and said, you know, if that's true and this is a correction code, I'm looking at this code, and it's a code we use in BioAcoustics. So from that, can I conclude that man is also man-made or God-made, but humans can be controlled with math, and that's what this was. So I believe that now that we have discovered that we have a maker, and there's absolute proof through bioacoustic math, our maker is going to appear and come forth very soon. But that's just my point. Trump's sun sign is Cancer, and so is the USA's sign Cancer. I don't know what that means. Okay, somebody is saying he's not Virgo, he's a Cancer. And Cancer people are family oriented. They can be very vindictive. You never know they hit you or that they got you. They'll be Trump isn't this because he tweets nasty things about people I don't agree with. Oh no, I should have said that wrong. It's not that I don't agree with him tweeting. I think I don't agree with some of the things he says about people and calling them names. I just don't think that's very presidential, but that's my thing. Other people love it. Young people love it. Maybe that's who he's trying to reach. But there is a great transition here from the young people, and Bernie is telling, you can have everything with no consequences. But Bernie doesn't tell them, and when you get older, you're going to pay for the young again. You're going to pay for it somewhere. That's what's being left out of Bernie's campaign. That's what's being left out of AOC. Let me look at this. I call these people the hit squad because there is a surprise in the hit squad, and we put this out several months ago. That, well, hit squad, come on and open. Hit squad. AOC is not the leader of the hit squad. Ilhan Omar is. And she belongs to a ancient sect that is called the Assassins. So when we look at AOC, she's the pretty face. And one of the things that I predicted, that if Bernie gets elected, they will try to get the age limit changed for AOC to run as his running mate. So here's all her information. And we also have information on who is supporting her. And it drives right back to Soros. She has an empty foundation, but most of you knew that. Most of her stuff is in fantasy. But she's just the front runner, you know, the face. The person who is oh, I was just putting in, this is Martin Luther King's stuff, but I think that's a WAV file. It is, yeah. This is very long. It's about 30 pages long. This is your leader. And she would, according to her vocal print, stab you in the back in a second to get what she wanted. She's the one you're going to have to watch out for. The rest are just kind of there and not very important. But you can see how Ilhan Omar is just scattered everywhere. But she's very intent on what she wants and what she's going to get. And she's going to have exactly what she wants, and she doesn't matter. She doesn't care who gets in the way. Her main thing is if you ever had to lie to see justice done, you do it. But your sense of justice does not always jive with the law. The computer wrote that. We can show you the others. This is a multitasker, and that's one of the things that Ilhan Omar is very good at. Do, future, mind, very little emotion. It's foreign to her, emotion, even though she's having an affair with that guy that she's getting in trouble with. This is Presley. She matches Obama and Gaddafi. Surprisingly, Obama and Gaddafi were very similar vocal prints. But this gives interpretation of each one of these people and what they're trying to do. Presley really believes she's doing something for the people, but she believes that only one group of people are correct. You know, and there we go, separating people again. To remove medical necessary debt. Oh, just things that she wants to do. Lots of work here I can see, but she this one only has part of a story. She has no concrete how this is going to happen. This is my fantasy and this is how I want, and I don't have a sliced idea how it's going to come about. So we have probably thousands of pages that you can learn from, videos that you can learn from classes, free up to the professional course. Okay, back to answering questions. Trump's voice at rallies sounds very stressed. It has me concerned. Is he ill? I just think he's doing a lot, but I will go back to a rally and see what is going on. I think one of the things that aggravates him is stupid, ignorant people. And the fact that he has to deal with them. Ark says, I've studied astrology and Trump is a Gemini. The twins, dual. All right, I really don't know when his birthday is. I don't know what his astrology sign is. We do have a lady, Anita, who's an astrologist and works with BioAcoustics. I will ask her. I think that's the end of the questions, and we certainly have gone over more than a half hour. If you want more information, keep checking back at Sound Health Portal. Get your voice print done there. It's free. Go to Sound Health Options if you are interested in our classes. Our whole goal, our mission, is to turn all of this information over to the public in support of self-health, because I put it politely, I think we're being screwed by the CDC, by pharmaceutical companies, by people who make glyphosate. We have a whole article on that. And if you're interested in our next class, it's going to be on the coronavirus and how to deal with that, we will be happy to send you an invitation. I certainly appreciate all of you being here. I feel guilty for going over. I've answered all your questions. There's much more information. We'd like you to join the BioAcoustic family. But remember, there's nothing wrong with your voice. It's what you do about it that makes a difference. So we can look at your voice and see what needs to happen. And we can also provide you the frequencies to help your body support optimal form and function. And we want everybody to have that opportunity. Raising up drug prices, withholding medication for people over 70s just because they can claim an emergency or a shortage, and then they can claim or that they have a right to withhold medication. I can see it coming, and that's why we have developed frequency sets that will provide the medication for you. We want everybody to have that knowledge. But we realize that we're stepping on the financial toes of people who are making all the money. They shouldn't be lining their pockets at your expense. So we're trying to help you learn to create a bioacoustic community everywhere, in every city, in every state, so that we have the ability to take care of ourselves. And you can learn a lot from this animal farm that we started with. It's what's happening to us. Thank you for being here. And I hope you can join us next time.